there is a finite capacity of, you say, okay, well, if we build, will the world come to us? Well, the world is only going to come if the jobs are there and the opportunity is there and the business environment is there. So you can't build, China is a good example. They build, apartments galore and they've got to tear them down because they're not selling them. So we're not going to build apartments that have to be torn down. We're going to build apartments and moderate it based on market demand. And the market will decide how many apartments that we build. The zoning that we prescribe is going to create the opportunity for that new construction.
And there's another thought that we haven't had a lot of growth in the population in California. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of stalled. Do you think this shortage exists even though the population is not growing as fast?
Well, that's one of the arguments that I find that's not really holds a lot of water, because if you look at the criteria for how SCAG develops RENA, population is part of the equation, but it's not the driver of the equation. And I'll give you an example. What really is the driver is household formation. An example could be Siamak and his wife have 2 kids in 2010. They're 12 and 13 years old. The population in the Karami household is 4, and there's 1 house to serve 4 people. We're now 2020 census has come, it's now 2024. Both kids have graduated from college, they both have great jobs, and now you still have 4 people. Still 4 people in California, but now you have the demand for 3 households. You even have the demand for 2 households if one of them moves to Texas. So one of Mr. Karami's kids moves to Austin, Texas to find his or her future there. The other one stays. So you've doubled the demand for housing with a decrease in population because of household formation. So household formation is a factor that's in the methodology to determine how RENA is calculated. And that's something that we have to really take a look at. If we're not going to have children anymore, we're going to stop having children, then there isn't household formation. So household formation is really a driver.
Now, you're pretty vocal about this. This is your issue. You care about housing. And can you tell us why?
Yeah, it's started when, like I said, when I moved to Southern California and I looked at old stuff. And the first city I looked at, my boss lived in Huntington Beach. He goes, "Mike, you need to move to Huntington Beach and be near me. We can carpool." So I look at, 20-year-old apartments. I go, now they're 50 years old or 40 years old or whatever they are. And I go, I don't want shag carpet. I don't want popcorn ceilings. I don't want to go to the laundromat. I want to be upgraded and to as much as I can comfortably afford. So I want a new product. And I think that had I come to Huntington Beach in 1986, it'd be different than coming there in 1999. So there's 13 years that I had to work my way west to get there. Maybe served on the council.
Was it expensive?
Yeah, it was expensive. I mean, a new house, well, not a new house, but a house in the numbered streets in the 80s was $250,000. My home buying budget was $100,000. So I had to go, when I bought my first house, I had to go to Murrieta. So I bought my first house in Murrieta. I had to commute 70 miles to Compton, each way. And okay, that was not sustainable. I did that for 18 months and thought, what am I doing? I should have bought a condo in Lakewood or something. And so then when I got married, my wife and I she lived in Yorba Linda, or she lived in Brea, and then we ended up moving to Yorba Linda. And then we kept, traded up, and then traded size-wise down, but went west and we went to the beach. And we went to Huntington Beach because a lot of things. One is climate, of course. We love the weather. And what we both wanted to do is live someplace that was a walkable community. And I know there's a lot of talk about, nobody likes this 15-minute city discussion, and nobody really wants to talk about walkability, but we've traveled all over Europe. We've traveled to New York City, San Francisco, Chicago. Nothing beats walking out your front door and walking 2 blocks to go to dinner, or 2 blocks to go to the nail salon or the hair salon, like my wife does. She walks to the hair salon and the nail salon is 2 blocks away. And the beach is 5 blocks, 6 blocks away. So we have a walkable city. It's not like an urban core like New York City, although I could probably live there too. But that appeals to me, and I know it appeals to a lot of other people. And it doesn't appeal to everybody. I know some people would prefer the suburbs. You have that choice. 70% of our city is single-family homes. 70% of our homeowners, or 70% of our residents live in single-family homes. And if they want to drive to the grocery store, that's great. They want to drive to the hair salon, that's great. I want to walk.